All right, let's jump right in. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really fascinating piece of international trade strategy. Think about this for a second. The Middle East imports tens of billions of dollars worth of food every single year. It's a massive number. But, when most people look at global food supply chains, they tend to obsess over where a product starts and where it finishes, and they completely miss the crucial steps in between. So today, we're zooming in on the hidden engine of this massive food trade. We're going to explore how Turkey acts as way more than just a hungry consumer of premium goods. It's actually this incredibly strategic springboard straight into one of the most lucrative neighboring markets on the map, Iraq.
So that brings us to the core strategic question we're answering today. Why exactly is Turkey the ultimate gateway to the Iraqi rice market? If you're an executive, a logistics planner, or a wholesale importer, understanding the nuts and bolts of this specific trade route is literally game-changing. We're talking about a regional demand for premium imported rice that is just exploding. And successfully tapping into that, well, it requires completely rethinking your supply chain.
To figure this out, here's our game plan. First, we'll look at Turkey as the strategic trade gateway. Second, connecting to the Iraqi market. Third, the premium Pakistani rice varieties. Fourth, the Pakistani rice advantage. And finally, AHK Rice export solutions. Let's get to it.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, Turkey as the strategic trade gateway. Right off the bat, Turkey just has this massive geographical advantage. It sits directly at the crossroads of Europe, Asia, and the Middle East, making it a natural funnel for global commerce. Now, yes, Turkey does produce its own rice domestically, but there's a huge strategic gap here. Local production simply cannot keep up with the soaring market demand, especially when we're talking about premium, long-grain Basmati rice. It's a structural thing, really. Turkey's climate just doesn't support the specific cultivation you need for authentic Basmati. So, to bridge that gap, Turkey has spent years building up this incredibly advanced, high-capacity logistics infrastructure. We're talking systems built to handle massive, non-stop influxes of premium agricultural goods. And look, when this premium rice enters Turkey, it doesn't just sit collecting dust in a warehouse. It feeds this incredibly complex, dynamic ecosystem. Picture a massive multi-ton shipment hitting the port. Almost immediately, it splinters off. One chunk goes straight to high-end Istanbul hotels and premium restaurants catering to tourists. Another chunk heads to supermarket chains for everyday consumers, while these huge catering companies scoop up their share for institutional dining. But here is the most crucial piece of the puzzle: the export trading companies. These are the highly specialized businesses that take that imported bulk rice, repackage it, and get it primed and ready for its next big journey heading east.
Which brings us to Section 2, connecting to the Iraqi market. Let's see how this domestic consumption turns into a transnational pipeline. Let's walk through this logistical funnel step by step. Step 1. These massive shipments hit Turkey's ultra-efficient maritime ports, slipping right into a streamlined customs environment that is quite literally built for scale. Step 2. The goods flow straight into established wholesale networks. These are run by seasoned pros who know exactly how to handle and store premium agricultural products so nothing spoils. Then, Step 3. The rice is seamlessly moved across that long land border Turkey shares with Iraq. So goods that officially entered Turkey are constantly being redistributed right into northern Iraq by these highly experienced overland logistics teams. It's just a constant, highly profitable stream. You see, choosing Turkey as your entry point isn't just about looking at a map. It's a masterclass in leveraging existing infrastructure. You're plugging into a well-developed road network and modern, climate-controlled logistics hubs that are already primed for this exact cargo. But honestly, the true secret weapon here, it's the commercial trade links. In the Middle East, established trade pathways and trust are worth their weight in gold. Because Turkish distributors and Iraqi buyers already have these deep commercial relationships, the trust is there. The operational pathways are paved. You're not trying to build some vulnerable supply chain from scratch. You're plugging right into a highly optimized machine, which gives you an absolute fortress of a competitive moat.
Moving on to Section 3, Premium Pakistani Rice Varieties. Let's look at the actual commodity fueling this trade.
Because, look, rice is not just rice. In this world, it's a highly specialized business solution tailored for incredibly specific market segments. These different Pakistani varieties are essentially targeted tools. For example, 1121 Basmati is famous for those extra long grains and amazing elongation when cooked. That makes it the absolute visual centerpiece for supermarkets, where, consumer appeal is everything. Then you've got Golden Sella. This one has a uniquely firm texture that totally resists overcooking, making it the heavy-duty go-to for catering and big institutional kitchens. 1121 Steam gives you this bright white, elegant presentation that premium restaurants love. Super Basmati brings that traditional, authentic fragrance for everyday premium cooking. And finally, 1509 Basmati gives you a super reliable, high-quality standard, perfect for diverse wholesale needs.
To really see the strategic advantage here, let's contrast two heavyweights. On one side, we have 1121 Golden Sella. If you're supplying a massive hotel or a catering company serving thousands of meals a day across Turkey or Iraq, you desperately need a grain that separates perfectly and holds up in chafing dishes for hours without turning to mush, right? Golden Sella is your commercial workhorse. It literally never fails. But on the flip side, take 1121 Steam Basmati. If you're supplying a high-end restaurant where the presentation on the plate dictates a premium price, you absolutely need that bright white look and sophisticated aroma. Matching the exact right grain to the specific operational needs of your buyer, that is precisely how savvy importers skyrocket their profitability and eliminate client churn.
Which segues us perfectly into Section 4, the Pakistani rice advantage. Let's look at why buyers specifically choose it.
With all the global suppliers out there, why do Turkish buyers and their Iraqi clients demand Pakistani varieties? Well, it comes down to a really potent mix of superior product quality and incredibly aggressive business metrics. First, you've got that internationally recognized quality, the extra long grains, the authentic aroma, the fluffy texture that local culinary traditions absolutely insist on. But the real clincher? The highly competitive wholesale pricing. Direct sourcing from Pakistan lets importers lock in top-tier quality at really attractive price points. When you hit that sweet spot of high quality and low cost, and then you pair it with rigorous quality assurance and dependable shipment schedules, you create an undeniable value proposition. It's a rock-solid supply chain that fiercely protects both your margins and your reputation. And here's a massive opportunity for strategic growth, especially for the executives tuning into this explainer. For Turkish distributors, importing from Pakistan isn't just about moving bulk commodities around. It's a huge gateway to brand building. By leveraging flexible, customized packaging, distributors can easily create their own branded retail products. You're no longer just passing a nameless bag of rice through to Iraq. You are building a tangible brand asset, a label that builds regional loyalty, completely sets you apart from competitors, and ultimately commands much higher retail prices. So, how do you actually pull this off flawlessly? Let's jump into our final section, Section 5, AHK Rice Export Solutions. This right here is the fundamental key to making the whole operation hum, factory direct wholesale pricing. To make this complex Turkey to Iraq logistical jump profitable, you have to strip out the middlemen right at the source. Think about it. Every time cargo changes hands or crosses a border, it eats into your margin. AHK Rice operates by giving you factory direct pricing from day one that drastically drops the initial acquisition cost, maximizing the margin for the Turkish importer. And that cost savings gives them the financial breathing room they need to price their products competitively for that onward multi-stage journey into northern Iraq. But AHK Rice isn't just selling you a commodity. They're providing comprehensive end-to-end export solutions. They handle the complex, behind-the-scenes B2B services so the importer can just focus 100% on regional distribution and sales. They manage the custom packaging and private labeling we just talked about, and, crucially, they ensure the export documentation is absolutely flawless. Honestly, navigating multi-border customs with bad paperwork is an absolute nightmare. It can stall a shipment for weeks, which completely destroys profitability and trust. AHK solves that directly. They provide rock-solid international logistics and consistent export quality standards. Basically, they act as your dedicated long-term partner in this specific trade corridor. The trade corridor between Pakistan, Turkey, and Iraq is only expected to get stronger as regional demand for premium imported food keeps surging. Turkey is way more than just a massive import market. It really is the strategic bridge for the entire region. So knowing these exact logistical pathways, understanding which specific rice varieties solve distinct commercial needs, and partnering with a direct source supplier like AHK Rice, well, that brings us to our final thought. How will you position your business for long-term growth in this booming trade network? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I hope this gave you a clear, actionable roadmap to fuel your regional expansion.